This will be one of the most powerful Enlightened Masculinity episodes ever. If it's posted, be fortunate that you're listening to the recording. And for all the people here live on the many platforms, I do hope you enjoy it thoroughly. I'll try to keep it in layman's terms. I'm Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and captain of IMC Nation, living here at IMC Base 1. This show is a red pill show about masculinity and enlightenment. And whoa, so much to report on. The show, the title, what I titled it was How to Untrigger Yourself. And this is maybe a slang or a colloquial term to like be triggered, get triggered, more technically maybe called like re-stimulated, or there's probably all kinds of psychological terms about it. And essentially, to even know what that is and why it's relevant for you, because it's happening, you just may not know it. You're pretty much chronically walking around in some small, at least minor state of re-stimulation almost all the time. And you will almost not even know that. You may never know that until you destimulate, and then you see it. And we go through fluctuations of being more stimulated, less stimulated. Let's say a more stimulated person might be someone who's just like always angry or easily set off, unstable like that. Like you can't say certain things to them or certain situations. They just, there's that kind of humor where you're like humorously angry, but then there's the kind of anger that's like all the time. And to understand what's going on, you must kind of understand the mind a bit. We got to go into the subject of the mind. And people talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And this is very fortunate for you all to be here, honestly. I hope you take it seriously, because there's the subconscious mind, but then there's also the unconscious mind. Do you think those words are equivalent, or are they different? The unconscious mind and the subconscious mind? No, they're not the same. They're different words. You may be unconscious of your subconscious mind, but that's different than the unconscious mind. And when we think of the unconscious mind, there is the hardware of your ears and your eyes and your taste and everything, the hardware, the wiring that brings the signals in. And that's how you learn to talk and learn everything. You learn how to walk by finding your balance. It was like all nerve reception and figuring out the sensations and falling hurts and all that stuff. And the subconscious just kind of patterns it out and figures it out, because it's a survival machine. The genetic machine, it's like it wants to survive. So it's going to figure out things that go towards survival, pleasure, and away from pain, death. Just naturally, like that's its basic machine code. And so the hardware is going to, because it's a living thing, it's going to organically just kind of organize to figure it out. And it's going to go the path of least resistance. Your machine is not necessarily looking for you to excel and be the best at what you do. And, it's just looking to survive. It doesn't have a concept of like, imagining a better future. Now we can impose our imagination by conscious mind thinking of maybe an ideal. Let's say you want to learn how to dribble a basketball, and you feel it out in your mind, and you practice it in your mind, and you will ready yourself a little bit at least for that activity. You could do that with like picking up a girl, and you could run through it in your mind and do it right. Now you could run through it in your mind in a negative way and get yourself all worked up, nervous and everything, because you're reacting to it. But if you had an ideal business or ideal sale go down, like you were selling a business, or an ideal athletic performance, you were running and you saw, like you could feel it and impress on the subconscious mind, because the subconscious isn't thinking, it's just experiencing. But if you can imagine it and experience it, you can make your subconscious and write it to be fit for a different condition in life. Like a puzzle piece, it'll fit because the nervous system is more ready. So subconscious, conscious mind, And then there's this unconscious, which kind of overlaps in different ways, just a different meaning. And the part of your mind that's just not conscious, unconscious means not conscious. Those two words come together as one word, unconscious. So the not conscious mind, the hardware of your body keeps, like if I cut off my hand, I no longer can feel what my hand is feeling. If it's like on the ground, I can't feel the ground. Cut off my hand and it falls to the ground. I don't feel the ground because it's severed. The hardware is severed. I don't feel the ground on the hand. If you inject me with some numbing agent or something and I can't feel, I no longer, the hardware is now not working. I've interfered with it. But if those things haven't happened, maybe there's another example, but if the hardware is still sending signals, let's say I could be hypnotized so that I don't feel my arm, so that in my brain or my mind, it's not registering that you're picking my finger with a prick or something, a needle. But if I'm not hypnotized and all of that stuff, whatever's going on to the system, the body, the sensations, the light, the taste and everything, the smells, and even the words are being received by the hardware. The hardware receives the sensations of the environment, whether you're conscious of it or not. It keeps receiving the data. If you're still breathing, heart beating, saliva going, everything going, but you're just not conscious, your machine is still receiving the data. It gets recorded in your unconscious mind. Paco knows this stuff. Acroflying probably doesn't know any of this stuff. Aquanium, breeding ground. Some of you, I'm not, breeding ground, of course, I know, but some of you, I don't know, first time. So again, this is podcast, so you should click the description, follow the show and all that good stuff if you're watching recordings. A lot of people are watching the recordings lately. It's growing. It has like 74 reviews or something on Apple Podcasts, like, or Spotify, one of those two. Let's see. Unconscious mind. So unconscious by definition means you're not conscious of it. So let's say I'm not conscious and a fire truck goes by. I'm not conscious though. Loud siren, system hears it, but I'm not conscious of it. Later, someone asks me, do you remember when that fire engine went by? I'm not conscious of it. No, I don't remember. Right? That makes sense. I was not conscious, so I wouldn't remember the fire engine going by. Right? Are you guys following? You know? No, I don't think they're following. Okay, so if I was knocked out, someone punched me out, and I'm on the ground, but I'm still breathing, salivating, heart beating, alive. Everything is working. The machine seems to still be working. I'm just unconscious. Maybe a little swelling over here, but it's like I'm not conscious. A fire siren goes by or whatever. Loud noise. I'm like right next to the street. I wake up later. Someone asks me, never mind that I got knocked out or whatever, but someone asks me, you remember when that fire engine went by? I would not have a recollection of that because I was knocked out. Does it make sense? Or do you maybe disagree? Maybe you think you would still remember. Okay, so let's say you don't remember because you were knocked out. It makes sense that you wouldn't remember because you were knocked out. But let's say, fast forward some future time, a fire engine goes by with a loud noise. You're conscious, you're awake. And you all of a sudden, your head starts to hurt. Right where you got punched. But you don't know why your head starts to hurt when a fire engine goes by. Never mind the loud sound. It's just after it's gone, your head is really hurting. Okay, you don't have a memory that you remember that you got punched out, but you don't have a memory of a fire truck going by when you were punched out. because you were unconscious, but your system remembers. Your system remembers loud fire truck sound goes by while pain in the head is going on. And it associates this experiences because it's a very dumb machine. But it's just basic stuff. It's pre-language. It's like infant. Imagine a dog, if you like blew your whistle when you smacked it or something, it would start to associate the whistle with the smack, and you blow a whistle and it would flinch almost. But why? Okay. So later the fire engine goes by and you feel the experience. Now this happens in so many different ways. We go unconscious, like if we're very ill when we're young, there's a degree of unconsciousness that happens. Maybe we get slapped around when we're young. Maybe we do get knocked out at some point or break a bone or something. We go into shock. Someone near us dies. We go into grief. These experiences shut off the conscious mind to a degree, their intensity, but the unconscious mind, called the reactive mind, is still functioning. And it's recording. And around you, certain things happen. Let's say dog dies and it was a white pickup truck. And now all of a sudden, every time you see a white pickup truck, you feel that grief a little bit, or you feel that sadness, or you remember the dog somehow. You start to re-experience the feeling of it. Maybe somebody around you said something really mean or rude, or like a bully in the neighborhood was laughing at you when your dog got whatever, and it was that Native American kid or something, who knows. And then all of a sudden later you develop this like prejudice towards Native American when you see that skin tone color, or that nose shape or something, and you don't realize how associated it is to this negative feeling, this negative experience that you had earlier in life that was unconscious. So because you don't have the memory of what was happening during that unconscious period, you don't have that memory, but the system was recording. So later, even though you're conscious, the system picks up, because it's still listening, it picks up the sight, sounds, colors, and words. This is a key here, the words. But I'm sticking with the gross senses, the sight, sound, feeling, those easy ones. And though the same sensations in the environment, that white pickup truck or something, when it goes by and it has that same rumble in the exhaust pipe or whatever, and your system remembers, it gets re-stimulated, and feelings come with that, and you won't be conscious of the association. You won't realize that white pickup truck is what created that pit in your stomach feeling. You'll just think maybe you got nauseous or something. Maybe the next door neighbor buys a white pickup truck and all of a sudden you develop a stomach disease or something because you're just always seeing it, but you're resisting. You don't realize the association of what is on the outside that's associated with what's on the inside from a prior experience because you were unconscious. And so we have so many of these throughout life to more or less degree. Some are really intense experiences. Think of like just the most terrible, like rape, like women go through that shit. They get these things, boys go through that shit and they get, they go unconscious, and there's all kinds of experiences, grief and everything else I said, shock, even drugs, the intense experience. If you're alive, it's still recording. And what goes on around you is imprinted, like a picture is an imprinting of light. There, you can think of a sound picture. It's like an imprint of sound in your system. There's a picture that's in your mind. There's a sound that's in your mind, a picture. And there's a feeling. What temperature is it? What texture is it? There's all of them, the smell and the taste. Like if there's distinct smell or taste going on when you're unconscious, that will get associated with the feelings that you're experiencing while you were unconscious. So later, when you re-experience that smell or taste or whatever, it will re-stimulate to some degree the feelings. And you won't be conscious of it. It'll just be hardwired in, system, cause and effect, like somebody tapping your reflex on your knee and your leg kicks. It'll just be like reflex inside of you, and you're just not conscious of what's happening. And so then you start feeling a certain way and looking out at your environment, and you're trying to figure out what's you're going to misassociate what's causing this feeling because you were not conscious of when the association was made. It's on the other side of your mind. It's like no matter how conscious you are right now, you cannot look right behind your head. It's on the other side of your skull. And those memories on the other side of your consciousness, they're not consciousness memory. Okay, so we go through life and things, destimulate yourself, untrigger yourself. Some of the processes that we go over in IMC Nation are very fantabulous is the word that comes to me. It's fucking amazing, especially communing with nature, especially just the wisdom and the philosophy, more and more on the higher levels. As I was just thinking right before this podcast, I want to share with you. So we were raised in a public school system for how many years? 10, 12. How much money do you think was put into educating you? It was public, okay. Maybe it was paid with tax dollars, okay. But like, let's take how much money does it take to run a school for a year? Just take it like money per year. You got to pay everybody's salary. You got to run the power, electricity, the janitor, the person who mows the lawn, the books and everything. Like, just sum it all up, okay? Divide that by how many students are in that school. So you get $1 per student. How much do you think that is? Grade school is probably less than senior year of high school. It just keeps going though. You think it was like $100,000 to educate you? Maybe less, 50,000. I don't know. I went through college. I went through 12 and a half years of university after public school. I did all those extracurricular activities too. So pay those coaches. That's part of it. All that conditioning. And you know how fucked up the public school system is with socialism and just mind. Let me close out this app so it stops doing that. Confusing kids. And it's not the intention. I don't look at my high school wrestling coach and think he was trying to confuse me. I look at it as he was confused also. They were all confused, passing on the virus of confusion about the real history of humanity and what's really going on with government and takeover and psychology and yada, 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 yada. Don't teach you anything you need to know. Wish they had taught me how to do my taxes right. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a useful thing. So why don't they though? So that they can take up your time as an adult. First you got to work, then they can take up your time as an adult figuring it out too. Or pay your money to somebody to figure it out so you have less money to play. It's just a bunch, it was all strategized, right? They don't teach you that. So it costs how much money to educate you? Now, how much money are you putting into your liberation? How much money are you putting into unprogramming you, programming you right? Let's say with AZD, IMC philosophy, what we're doing here, IMC philosophy and AZD, it's kind of two separate things. IMC is like all these philosophies of ancient masters and the wisdom of the ages, even the cosmic, tapping in. But then there's also AZD as a messenger. He's bringing it, and he has this unique angle that is one of a kind on the planet. And we all do. We're developing it. And we're on the path. And this is part of the path, the destimulation, so that you can find yourself again. Because you're behaving out of a state of being restimulated. So if you're angry, you're going to say and act and do things and decide things that are from that state of mind. And it's not going to be the same that you would make, the same words you would choose, the same decisions you would make if you were calm, relaxed. Not the same also if you were tired. It would be different. Like this, the conditions of the body, different emotions, you'll make different decisions and say different words. If you're happy, you won $1 million, you'll respond to mom differently than if you're sad, you just lost $1 million, you'll respond to mom differently. Because you're affected by the external. And when you pull back from that part of you that's affected by the external, pull you back from the reaction part of your mind, the program that's in your mind that's doing the reacting for you, the machine code, the robot's code. That is, kind of what this is all about. Because when you recenter and you find this, and it's through the creativity, it's through the art, it's through the character development. Going into nature destimulates you. The communing with nature process destimulates you. The wisdom of the camps and the control over your imagination and the different exercises and the different exposure you get to taboo subjects, taboo responses, taboo wording, taboo parts of your mind. When we do like childhood regression, think about when you were 7, this or that. You get to wash, clean. It's not mind washing. I don't want to say that, but it's you are cleaning your mind. You're like washing off the imprints by going time traveling, going through your history forward and backwards, putting there what you want in various ways, especially, and what we specialize in is the calibration. Shamir Khan is calibration of your imagination to the relationship with women, because this is where we excel. What else are you going to calibrate to? You're going to calibrate to money. You're going to calibrate to men. You're going to calibrate to God. You're going to like at the highest ethics, you calibrate to it all. And we have found the weak point. And it's funny and it's ironic and it's true that the weak point is also the pressure point of society. So just because you're excited about finding the thing that you want to strengthen, everybody else has bruised egos about it. Everybody's hurting the most on that subject. They don't want to excel at it. They don't even want to address it. It's like you have a broken arm. You're like, no, don't even reset it. No, just leave it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. That's what people are doing with their relationships and communication skills and what have you. Taking it about as serious too. Like, yo, if you don't heal your arm, it's going to be all deformed and you probably die sooner too. It'll get infected, all kinds of shit. And that people with their relationships and their communication are going to die sooner, stressed out, and inside they're all broken. And it's going to hurt to re-break and put things back together because you're misaligned inside. And so you're going to get triggered 1,000 ways to Sunday. And to destimulate yourself is the process. So recently we'll be selling the Beast Phase 1 process. We're putting together all the best camps. About like 8 or 9 or 7 or so different camps that were Beast Phase 1. And this was how to be a stoic beast. Practical, how to practically pull stoicism out of the page through you and into your character, how to live on a prison planet satisfied with yourself as a beast, not as a recluse or a hermit or some, although there are qualities to that too. And being able to do that as if you were in prison, that mindset, it's very harsh, but it's very strengthening. And it will destimulate you. It'll help you to work out your restimulation. AZD went through that when his girlfriend left him, cheated on him or whatever, and came back, one of his girlfriends. And, it was a whole process and it came through prison, it came through ancient Stoic teachings, and we were all on it. And it'll give you a lot of alchemy to work with. Now, since the beast process and this whole thing we call beasting, there's these other processes like communing with nature, and the philosophies that are talked about in L. Ron Hubbard's writings, and really what AZD is teaching. I think by working his exercises, what AZD shows, you gain a mastery to some degree, to a small degree, over your system, where you really get the next level of mastery is in the relationship. And that's what I'm having some frustration with some of the guys in Dragon's Lair that are avoiding the game because they want to work on other parts of their life. And that's just frustrating because of course you don't see the value of AZD stuff because you're half-assed using it. You can't use it if you're not in the game. In the game just means openly, actively receptive to women. And so openly, actively receptive. That means you don't just stand there and wait for someone to pass you the ball. You actually do walk to the court and you actually do offer to, be in the game, and you actually do be a good team player until everybody wants you on their team and everybody wants you for their 2v2 and their 3v3 and they want to hang out with you after the game. and you end up becoming friends with the best ball players on the court. And, you know, but you only have an hour a day because you live a disciplined life. You got to go make money. You got a beast, and you have girlfriends you got to see and everything. So what's the analogy mean? It means be in the game of life, of relationships. It's what it's all about, man. All right. So go to imcbase1.com. That's where you'll get the Mindbender event. I feel like, how do I wrap this up? I think that's as good a wrap as any, but there's a bunch of people that just joined. And so if you guys have any comments, we'll give it a second. You guys can comment or what have you, unmute, be more participatory. A lot of people on, a lot of good people on. I'll end the stream actually to YouTube. YouTube, you should have come to the Zoom stream. I see I actually didn't post the Zoom link, so I'll quickly post it right here and stay on for just one more minute. And so you can either join us on Zoom for this Q&A portion, or, you know, just forever be, you know, over there. So I think the big point is really this. All right, so there you go. YouTube, I'm going to end your thing right now. We'll just go 5 or 10 more minutes. So I think the big thing is realizing what are the main triggers you've overcome. I think one of the main things that I've realized that I'm putting out right now is this kind of relationship between how much was invested in raising you and how much are you invested in raising yourself. A lot of money was invested in programming you to be a good boy. And how much have you invested in yourself to be that badass? And where have you been investing it? Because there's a lot of guys out there that are only a 10th or 20th or 100th of that in recipe. And you're getting directions from a bunch of people that only know 10% of the map. And so you're getting contradicting and not agreeing ideas from different places. In some places you get agreeing ideas. Like if you had ever picked up the Tao Te Ching or ever studied yoga or whatever, you'd probably get a lot of what we talk about in IMC Nation. You know, these ancient, timeless truths. There's a lot of self-help. There's a lot of evolutionary psychology. There's a lot from a lot of places. But there's an angle here, emphasis on communication. And when you look backwards, inwards, when you magnify where your communication comes from, it's going to definitely come, you know, from so many things, your body and your face and your tonality, which your breathing and your emotional state will come out in your tonality. And so much of what you're thinking about, what you think about is going to come out, and how you hold yourself and how you talk and how you know, imagine you've been thinking about that special girl all day. And then when you talk to her, you fumble your words. Yeah, because you've been thinking about her all day. So you carry with you what you've been thinking about. So that is communicated in the present time also. And so I did this a few podcasts ago, like the quantum changing of your habits. And this is what we're doing at Mindbender and advanced training. So it may be $10,000, it may be $100,000, maybe $200,000. Who knows how much I invested $125,000 in my higher education. Let's say it was $100,000 just to get me up to speed as a you know, a high school graduate. You know, being in this, as you go deeper and deeper, you'll see the mind is much thicker and much more programmed than you know it to be. And you keep breaking free of the habitual grooves of society that they want you to be in. And you got to really pave your own way. Now, IMC has created an organization worldwide that is paving, it has roads for you to walk. For example, anybody could be a TikTok marketer and go and post clips on TikTok and get affiliate link signups. Now, it's difficult. Nobody's really succeeding that well at it. They've gotten 1 or 2 signups. And so there's that. I don't know. Maybe you could find a better way to do it. So we're finding those ways. And people have made themselves valuable through, they learned how to do digital graphic design, or they learned how to do video editing, or, they've offered some service, fitness or something, and were able to, make a name for themselves and fund themselves to get higher level trainings, which will then trickle down into their business so they can make more money and then pay for more trainings. And it's like, well, at some point, I just want to make money and go. It's like playing the casino. I just want to leave when I'm up. No, motherfucker. The more you reinvest here, the more you'll be up later. And then the more you reinvest here, the more you'll be up later. And yes, one day you will get towards the top. I mean, it's nice, my income. It's nice, my business and what my daily habits are. It's nice to Zoom stream to IMC Nation, and you guys respect me enough to show up. That's partly because of the name and power and authority I'm given, but it's also the time put in. I was reading today my old ebook from 2017. Where were you in 2017? I was returning from India and doing trainings with Arash Dibazar and Vince Kelvin. And I wrote an ebook that was 25 pages. It was called The Sex Sutras of Ninth Limb Yoga. And AZD contributed lectures to it, and we sold it as a product. It was my first collaboration with him. Today, I wrote the description for it for a new webpage that has, so I'll sell it again. I created an ebook section on imcbase1.com. So I have these ebooks there that will change your life. I tell you, because I wrote this book in 2017, and when I went into the, I just wanted to count how many. I had like 49 bullet points. That it's a 25-page document, but it's a bullet point with like some paragraphs under it. It's a story. And these bullet points are sutras. That's why it's the sex sutras. So there were 49. So I just went into the document to count it, and I got caught. My eye caught something, and I started reading. And I had work to do, man, and I couldn't stop reading for like 20 minutes. It was so good. And I couldn't believe I wrote that in 2017. There were some typos too, like I would change it. But I was like, man, what am I going to sell this for again? I don't even know, because I want people to buy it. And it was $97 when the lectures came with it. And I mean, I want people to have it. So it's like, I don't know, maybe that's like an opening day sale, like $27 or $25 or something, $1 a page, whatever. And you'll gain so much appreciation, man, because I put in my work. And when you read the intelligence in that document, and when you read the story in that document, you realize that I had probably 15 to 20 of those before I even moved into base one, probably 25 of them. Man, I'd have to go back and look, because it gets expanded in the mind. It's like a million of those. I didn't have a million of those weekends, those 3-day trainings. And I wasn't always so close with Arash and like private or whatever. I just kept showing up, and he kept pulling me closer. And I was a strange character when I came around. What do you guys know about being strange characters when you come around? Anybody know what it's like to be a strange character when you come around IMC Nation? Well, come around in person a bunch, And in the beginning, I'll tell you, way back then, there was a lot more strange characters, and strange of the strange variety. And it was something else. A lot of them didn't make it for sensible reasons. And it's a shame, because I think they all could. I think they're all walking around in a state of being triggered in different ways, and they get more or less triggered by something that's said or done within IMC Nation, or some problem they have from the outside world that then bleeds over, because they get triggered in the world, and then they look at IMC. But you got to untrigger yourself and sort out your mind and be communicating. You got to work this philosophy out through your nervous system and really integrate your life, so that you don't have a hidden identity, so that you don't have relationships that you're hiding, so that you don't have secrets that you're so embarrassed and ashamed about. In present time, I have a past. If that ever has to be sorted out, then it'll be sorted out. But that's from before IMC. That's not what I need to bring to the forefront. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of anything that I'm doing right now. Ad vitam et culpam, for life or until misbehavior. So start now. When you're on the path, you're on the path now. It doesn't matter how long you've been on the path. It matters you're on the path now. And it doesn't matter how long you've been off the path. You're off the path. Keep going for 1,000,000 years. You're off the path. And what is the path? That's what I keep trying to share in the philosophy. And that's why I push you guys so hard. And that's why Jeremiah got into an argument with Mike Ducey. And that's why we're winning, I think, because we all care so much and we put up with it. And that argument is what would keep guys in a base. You would stay in a base together because you're both really good guys, and neither of you would want to leave IMC Nation. Because why would you show up to a podcast from a guy who behind the scenes is always telling you to get your shit together and fucking get a fucking credit card and sell everything. You don't need any pictures in your room. You don't need any furniture. You don't need any extra clothes. You don't need extra shoes. You don't need a bed. Sell it all so that you can come to a camp and save your life. Get a credit card. Ask mom or dad. Ask sister, brother. Ask whatever. Ask whoever is benefiting from you being a better communicator, that you've noticed that they appreciate, that you've solved problems of their life more because of information or mindset or whatever imagination that you've learned here. And that's who you ask to invest in you. And you take the teachings and you make your life better and you do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And that you spread IMC that way. And some people will even come with you. And it takes a hustle. And so a loyalty to AZD, to show up to this podcast, to know that I'm that guy that's always pushing and nudging you. I know that that means you really want to be around and you just can't make it for some reason. I also know that just can't make it is just some words in your mind that you're reacting to. You're convincing yourself of that. But nobody can make you do it. You can just lead a horse to the water. So it's our job through the philosophy to also, through the words, because all you're hearing are words through a digital device, through the words somehow convey the meaning that will make it mean enough to you. And you find yourself when you destimulate, and you destimulate by taking control of your imagination through time and through space, so that you separate you from the matter, energy, and space and time around you as a spiritual entity. And AZD is teaching us this essentially through all of his camps. That's what the advanced teachings are. And 200,000 invested in programming you, or 100,000 or 50,000 or however much, all that man energy, that manpower, and how much you're going to put into freeing yourself from all that programming. Especially when you consider, they say it takes 500 repetitions to learn a new move. In jiu-jitsu, it takes 5,000 repetitions to relearn it the correct way if you learn it wrong. So maybe you have to invest $2 million in your fucking evolution. I don't know. But it's worth it. Each step of the way, you have an advantage. All right, so I'll answer this question. What are the main triggers you have overcome? I don't know that I have too many. I think well, I'll talk about what I've heard other people talk about, because I think I've largely been unconscious of it. I think what I've been conscious of has been a gradual strengthening of my control and over my nervous system and my awareness, so that I see when I start tensing up sooner. I think that the triggering doesn't happen so much as like a light switch where I'm either not triggered or triggered. I think it's more like one of those, where you can ramp up the brightness or ramp it down. And, so I think things accumulate, they stack very, sometimes, for more traumatic events or what have you, then there might be buttons or words, like maybe somebody says, you motherfucker. And when you were a kid, your dad always say, you motherfucker, and slap you over the head. And so whenever anybody says you motherfucker to you, like you just flip your shit. So that might be like a more definite, like trigger, like a key. It's like a key that unlocks your fucking rage. And so I don't know so many of those, but I think that, as you gain more control, you'll see as you gain more control and you calm down and you relax. And I'll tell you, man, I'm so deep in it because, dude, I did yoga for years, a decade. And that when you stretch out all that tension and relax, and then I've been doing transcendental meditation dedicatedly for 2 years. And when you de-stress, and that's what that process is. And then, of course, learning all the studying and the philosophy and the mindset and imagination, understanding when you are unconsciously imagining things, why? Especially if it's worry, doubt, fear, anxiety creating things. That's why is that coming up? That's more or less triggered to some degree. The surrender experiment helps you to process the stress of that and let that go. It's very similar to transcendental meditation. Just TM is more exact. the surrender process is more general, and for living conditions, and transcendental meditation is more for meditation. It's a meditation practice, but they do kind of blend together. They're very similar. So de-stressing, you then become more aware of what creates the ripples in you. When you calm down, you become more aware of what creates the ripples in you. And anyway, I think I had some nice bow that I was going to tie up the episode with there for a second, but I kind of lost it. So whatever. What main triggers have you overcome? So I think it's been more and more control over noticing when I tense up, or when I'm starting to react, or when my emotions go down, when I feel it in my stomach area, or it's called the visceral nervous system in your torso. When I feel in here, or when I start noticing that my mind is thinking about thoughts, what would happen is I would entertain those for too long, and then I would find myself in a really dark place. And so I'm learning, or I've learned to some degree, to have some mastery over just stopping things before they happen and intervening. And so I don't really get triggered like that. But the things that used to, or maybe still do, is like being ignored, being talked down to by a woman. There's some degree of where when you learn to come back against the woman, you come back so angrily and reactively, it's still being triggered. You just learn how to fight back. Then there's a difference between calming down and fighting back from a calm place. And it does come from a place of pity and like, you fucking hurt, she's pathetic. And honestly, it's because she's triggered. When you overcome it, you really feel compassion for people that are acting out of that stuff. And but it's still, you don't just be compassionate with everybody, because they could be trying to harm you or your family. So there's compassion, but then there's also so much awareness, and that's where they've killed masculinity. So we have that also in IMC Nation. I mean, that's what this is. So that's the essence. I say go to imcbase1.com or send me a message. You know where to find me for Mind Bender. We have another 8 days. It's going to be real exciting here. Man, we have a party. Who's coming here in person? Dude, we have a party. I know Jesse's looking to come. He's also looking to get himself from New Zealand to America. If he doesn't make it all the way to America, probably start a New Zealand base. That should be a good thing. And then, other guys, you're in America. I don't know if you're not coming in person. It's going to be quite an experience, this party. This house party I rented the place. It's the nicest one we've had so far.
Foosball?
No.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that one, that was the only thing in it. The only thing in it that was any good was just a foosball. I mean, it met all the qualifications. I'm not saying it was like trash. It was the best of what's available, And foosball is tempting. Like the camera shots throughout that house. I was like, because we have a private party, we're gonna have pretty girls. We're gonna have guys done up, and we want it to be nice. So I got this other place. And, we're going to have some auditions. The guys that come are going to get to do those auditions. So you'll learn a lot about the modeling process and what we got going on. And we'll have, right now, Pyro, I got him to upload all the audition videos to a folder. So now we can go through them all, not only for our own study of game, but also to pick the best. Who do we want to invite? So we're going to get the best girls, the locally modeling, after like 20 or 30 auditions or so. So that's what we offer to our brothers, 5 lucky guys that'll get to come. And in addition to the staff that's helping out at this private location, we'll have 7 girls or so. And that's quite an offering. Plus the whole weekend. So there'll be a night of going out with AZD, and all the advanced lectures have just been mind bending. And you can bet your britches that it's going to, you like that one? Yeah, you can bet your britches that it's going to, the best been saved for last. That camp is going to seriously bend your mind.
That's the last camp of the year.
It is the final camp of this solar cycle, supposedly. Although December is, the
calendar's probably lying.
Yeah, the calendar's are lying. But of this, what do you call it? The calendar, the Gregorian calendar. All right, that's it for this. IMC Base 1, y'all. Os.